Your body is still afraid of something that has been extinct for 10,000 years. Right now, without you asking, your heart rate spikes when you hear a sudden sound. That system was not built for your world. It was built for theirs. Your pupils dilate in the dark. Your muscles tense before your brain decides to move. Your body floods with adrenaline in response to threats that do not exist. Most people assume the answer to surviving a saber-toothed tiger was simple: run faster, climb higher, hide better, use a weapon, stay in groups. The answer is more complicated than that, and far stranger, because the most dangerous thing your ancestors faced in that encounter was not the tiger. It was their own body. The same system that saved them also had a specific failure mode, a point at which it stopped being an asset and became the thing most likely to kill them. And that failure mode is still running inside you every single day. The story of how ancient humans survived is the story of what your body does when it believes you are about to die, and why that program is now destroying you in slow motion. Let's start with what happens in the first 3 seconds of seeing a predator. Not what you think happens. What actually happens. The amygdala, the threat detection center of the brain, fires before the conscious mind registers anything. Before you have decided to be afraid, before you have identified what you are looking at, the alarm is already going. The hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system. Adrenaline floods the bloodstream in seconds. Cortisol follows. Your heart rate doubles. Blood evacuates your digestive system and rushes to your muscles. Your pupils dilate to take in more light. Your airways open wider. Your liver dumps stored glucose into your blood. Emergency fuel. Your pain threshold rises. Your peripheral vision sharpens. Your blood begins to clot faster in anticipation of injury. All of this happens before you take a single step. The system is extraordinary. In the environment it was built for, a burst of physical danger lasting seconds to minutes, it is close to perfect. It turns a soft, relatively slow primate into something that can outrun, outfight, and outlast what should be an impossible situation. Studies of human performance under acute stress have documented feats of strength and speed that exceed anything the same body can produce under normal conditions. People have lifted cars off trapped children, outrun animals that should have caught them, survived injuries that would be fatal without the stress-induced suppression of pain. The system was not designed to fail. It was designed for a world where the threat lasted 30 seconds. But what happened when it lasted longer? What happened when your ancestors could not run, could not fight, and the threat did not go away? Everyone knows fight or flight. Fewer people know the third response: the freeze. When the threat is too close, too fast, or too large to fight or outrun, the nervous system shifts into a third gear that most people have never heard named. Most people assume freezing means playing dead, a passive shutdown, the body giving up. It is not. Tonic immobility is an active neurological state. The body does not go limp. It locks. Muscles contract isometrically. They engage fully without producing movement. The heart rate drops suddenly after spiking. Breathing becomes shallow and slow. The body becomes rigid, difficult to move, even for a predator trying to carry it, and something else happens. The brain releases a flood of endorphins and dissociative neurochemicals. Pain disappears. Time distorts. The person experiences a profound calm, a detachment from what is happening that survivors of predator attacks have described as almost peaceful. This is not accidental. Researchers studying tonic immobility in prey animals found that predators are significantly more likely to release or abandon prey that stops moving. Many large predators, including big cats, have a triggered carry response that requires continued struggle from prey to sustain. When prey goes still, the predator often sets it down, and a small percentage of those prey get back up and run. The freeze is not surrender. It is a calculated last resort that occasionally works. The freeze response you experience in moments of overwhelming stress, the inability to move, speak, or act when something terrible is happening, is not weakness. It is the same neurological program that occasionally convinced a saber-toothed tiger to put your ancestor down. Your body did not malfunction. It ran its oldest survival protocol. Let's talk about what actually worked, because the image most people carry, a lone hunter, a spear, a heroic confrontation, is almost entirely wrong. Ancient humans did not win fights against saber-toothed tigers. A saber-toothed tiger, specifically Smilodon fatalis, weighed between 160 and 280 kilograms. Its canine teeth measured up to 28 centimeters. Its forelimbs were built for pinning large prey, mammoths, ground sloths, bison, and holding them while the teeth did their work. work. A human with a sharpened stick had essentially no chance in a direct confrontation. What ancient humans had instead was something no other species on the African savanna could match: noise. Coordinated, deliberate, terrifying noise. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups documented a consistent pattern in their responses to large predator encounters. Not fighting, not fleeing, shouting, banging, throwing objects. The entire group generating as much noise and chaos as possible simultaneously. Most large predators, including lions, leopards, and hyenas, will disengage from a hunt when confronted with unexpected coordinated aggression from a group. The energetic cost of pursuing prey through that level of resistance typically exceeds the caloric benefit. The predator leaves, and fire. Every large predator that shared territory with early humans had evolved a hardwired aversion to fire. The scent, the sound, the light, all of them trigger avoidance behavior in big cats and other apex predators, independent of any learned experience. A fire at the edge of a camp functioned as an invisible wall. The predator would not cross it. But the most powerful weapon was not noise and not fire. It was each other. Fossil records and archaeological evidence consistently show ancient humans living in groups of between 20 and 150 individuals. No individual human survived alone in an environment with Smilodon. The group was not optional. It was the entire survival strategy. The reason you feel genuinely calmer in a group when threatened, the specific reduction in cortisol that occurs when a frightened person is surrounded by familiar faces, is not psychological comfort. It is the same neurochemical response that kept your ancestors alive. Your nervous system registers the presence of your group as armor. Here is the part the hook promised. The survival system is extraordinary. In the environment it was built for, it is close to perfect. 30 seconds of maximum output. Then the threat ends. Then the body recovers. Adrenaline clears. Cortisol drops. Heart rate normalizes. Digestion resumes. The immune system comes back online. The body repairs what the emergency damaged. That recovery was the design. Your ancestors faced the tiger. They survived or they didn't. If they survived, within an hour their cortisol had cleared and their bodies were rebuilding. Your cortisol does not clear. You wake up and check your phone. A message you didn't want, a bill, a deadline, a news headline, a notification that something has gone wrong. Your amygdala fires. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Your heart rate spikes. Your digestion shuts down. Your immune system suppresses. There is no tiger, but your body does not know that. It knows exactly one thing. A threat signal has fired. The response is automatic. The response does not check whether the threat is a 200-kilogram predator or an email from your manager. The American Psychological Association's annual stress survey has found that the majority of American adults report living in a state of chronic stress, not acute stress, the kind the system was designed for. Chronic stress. Days, weeks, months of continuous low-level amygdala activation. The survival response running with no threat to resolve and no recovery window between episodes. The physiological consequences are precise and documented. Chronic cortisol elevation suppresses immune function. It degrades the hippocampus, the memory center. It increases blood pressure and arterial inflammation. It disrupts sleep architecture. It accelerates cellular aging by shortening telomere length. The system that saved your ancestors from the tiger is the system that is shortening your life, not because the system is broken, because it is running perfectly in a world it was never designed for. When people hear about chronic stress and ancient survival, the world tends to run with the obvious reading. Ancient humans had it harder. They faced real threats, real danger, real reasons to be afraid every single day, and they survived. So modern humans should be able to handle the comparatively minor stresses of modern life. That reading inverts the actual problem. Ancient humans did not survive chronic stress. They survived acute stress because they were extraordinarily good at something modern humans have almost entirely lost: recovery. After a predator encounter, hunter-gatherer groups documented by anthropologists engage in a consistent post-threat behavior pattern. Physical shaking, the body discharging the residual adrenaline and cortisol through involuntary muscle tremor. Social bonding, the group coming together, touching, talking, processing the event collectively. And rest, the group stopping activity and allowing the nervous system the time it needs to return to baseline. This was not informal, it was structural, built into the rhythm of their days. The stress response fired, the recovery protocol engaged, the body rebuilt. Repeat. The ancient human body was not tougher than yours. it was better maintained. Neuroscientist and stress researcher Robert Sapolsky has argued that the single most damaging feature of modern stress is not its intensity, but its continuity. The absence of genuine recovery windows, the impossibility of resolution. You cannot outrun a mortgage, cannot fight a performance review, cannot freeze until a news cycle passes. The threat signals fire, the system responds. And because there is no physical resolution, the cortisol never fully clears. The problem is not that we face too much stress. The problem is that we have forgotten how to finish it. Go back to the beginning. Your heart rate spikes at a sudden sound. Your pupils dilate in the dark. Your muscles tense before your brain decides to move. Now you know why. That system was built on a savanna where the spike lasted 30 seconds and the recovery lasted an hour. It tracked a 200-kilogram predator with 28-centimeter teeth. It kept an entire group alive through noise and fire and the decision to stay together no matter what. And when the tiger was gone, when the adrenaline had done its work, your ancestors shook. They held each other. They sat in the dark and came back down. They finished the stress response. You are running the same system, on emails and deadlines and notifications and the low continuous frequency of a world that never fully goes quiet. The system is not broken. It is just never being allowed to finish. Your ancient ancestors did not have harder nervous systems. They had better recovery rituals, movement after fear, contact after threat, rest after activation. The saber-tooth tiger is gone. The program it built is still running in every cell of your body. The question your ancestors never had to ask, and the one you cannot avoid, is this. When does your body get to finish being afraid? Because until it does, the tiger never really left.